All right, and today on Your Health, we're going to be handling matters to do with what some may argue as weight loss, but I look at it as gaining health, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's start by first of all defining some of these terms that we use, and what does it mean to be overweight? What does the term overweight mean? Now, overweight is being it's abnormal or excessive fat accumulated where the BMI is greater or equal to 25. BMI here standing for body mass index. Now, the BMI is something that is pretty easy to calculate based on your height, your weight, and your age. And this is something that you can get from any pharmacy, or rather, let me say most pharmacies. But what they say is that for your BMI to be 25 and above, then that becomes, 25 is actually overweight. But then there's also a term that is commonly used, which is known as obesity. And that's abnormal or excessive fat accumulated where your body mass index is greater than or equal to 30. So if your BMI is greater than 30 or equal to 30, then you're not just overweight, but you're obese. And let's look at other terms and quick facts on that. Now, worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. This, of course, has been attributed to several things. It could be our changing lifestyle, the fact that now people do less hard work. We are more morbid and immobile than we were. So since 1975, it has actually increased by nearly tripled worldwide. In 2016, more than 1.9 billion adults were overweight. Of these, over 650 million were obese. This is definitely statistics that are very worrying, given that there are other complications that surround the fact that, obesity, things like lifestyle diseases like hypertension, things like, issues with your sugar, which is diabetes. So being overweight is definitely something that is not overweight, but being obese is very, very discouraged. Overweight and obesity kills more people than underweight. So we do have a challenge with being underweight, but being overweight, of course, being more of a serious issue. Now, 41 million children under the age of 5 were overweight or obese in 2016. Again, another very, very worrying statistic there, meaning that by the time they're getting even to their teenage, they're already having issues with their health. Obesity is preventable, and that's something that, of course, we're going to be talking about right here, and that is by virtue of how you live your life, based on what you eat, maybe the amount of exercise that you put in. Now, causes of overweight and obesity: increase in intake of energy-dense foods that are high in fat. That includes fizzy drinks, things like your, sweet drinks that you take, even the juices that we take. If you do your research properly, you'll find that they call them fruit juices, but the fact of the matter is they have a lot of sugar in them, which is one of the attributes that, if you look at, adds to your weight. Decrease in physical activity due to increasingly sedentary lifestyle. This again is, of course, brought about by the change of lifestyle that we have. For example, people maybe previously walked a lot more, did a lot more physical exercise, but given the lifestyle we live now, particularly those of us who live in the urban area, you'll find that majority of us have jobs that require you to sit all day. From there, you get into a lift, get into a matatu, into a vehicle, drive to wherever you're going, maybe climb onto a boda. So there is hardly any exercise, physical exercise that you do. So that affects your health and your lifestyle. Health risks: cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases, and stroke, which were the leading cause of death in 2012. So you need a healthy heart for you to ensure that you don't come under that. We also have the likes that I'd mentioned before, like diabetes and musculoskeletal disorder, especially arthritis. This, of course, will come about in terms of feeling pains, and the fact that maybe sometimes when you're either overweight or obese, again, depending on your age, things like mobility will be greatly reduced. So these are some of the health risks that we have. Some cancers, including endometrial, breast, ovarian, prostate, liver, gallbladder, kidney, and colon. I think it's also important to note that this may not necessarily be the cause, obesity, but they're a huge contributing factor, and they predispose you or make it more difficult for you to identify some of these diseases. And we know that cancer has definitely become a major concern, not just in Kenya, but globally. And those are some some of the challenges that you may find that you have when it comes to having being overweight or obese. So definitely a discussion that we need to have. And that's where we end up with our board. So for now, we're going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have Trixie Ngado handle this. And today we are doing